Hey guys, Jeremy here. First and foremost, thanks for the 200 subs, and I ask that you share this content and leave a comment. Hopefully, this reaches more people if you want to hear these stories. But we're going to talk about my experience in Iraq. That was my. We landed in Kuwait City in September of 2007, and went over to down to the where they had us staying at for. We were there for 3 weeks, and from there they attached me to a one of the line companies, the infantry companies, because I was a cook and I was they needed people to cook for the soldiers, obviously. Which and one of the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of these people that go to the main posts, they have civilians cooking for them, and the cooks, while the military cooks are there, they just supervise. The civilians do everything else. But we were actually cooking. But anyways, so we flew into Bayap, which is also known as Baghdad International Airport. We stayed at where we stayed at Camp Stryker for a couple days before they sent us off to our uh, patrol base, which 10th Mountain Division guys, they were getting ready to come out when we were going in to replace them. And the company themselves, they did what's called a left seed, right seed. We weren't a part of that. The their support commander demanded that all the support teams leave the next day, which is happened, is what it is. But what they did was basically you go there. It's like what they call a left seed, right seed, and what that is the outgoing company, the incoming company shadows the outgoing company, and basically shows them how they do things. And then where the right seed is the incoming company shows the outgoing company how they do things. So that was for that lasted for about 2 weeks. When the right seat occurred, we ended up losing our KPs because all the soldiers were going on patrols. But we still managed, and but they left us a mess, and we had to clean it up. And but once all the mess was cleaned up, then things started going smoothly. And one of the guys in my squad had a problem with the first sergeant, because first sergeant, one thing I liked about this first sergeant that was there is that he's always challenge he's always challenging the company to one up themselves, basically, if that makes any sense. It basically, okay, you're doing a great job. You want to try this to enhance what you're already doing, whatever. Then it's just a way to avoid complacency, because it's easy to get complacent, especially when you're doing all right, and then it gets to a point where that. But his mentality was always, we should always bring up the stress levels slightly to so we can continue to stay safe and stay alert and all that stuff, and keep keep uh, keep kicking ass. This guy had a problem with it, and he and I didn't get along really. It was always he was always going off over stupid shit, but it is what it is, and I haven't seen him in years. I hope he's doing okay. But apparently the first sergeant drove him so mad that he ended up going, when he came back off of his leave, his what they call R&R, he first thing he did was checked himself into mental health and played the crazy card, which ultimately he ended up screwing himself because the company that we were attached to was the first company to leave, and he had to go to because they took his weapon from him, and he had to go back to the main camp where the support company was staying at, and they were the last ones to come home. So the ones who so we ended up so it was how it worked was we went through there, and eventually about midway through our tour, one of the one of the squad leaders in the infantry companies, when they weren't doing nothing, he would get a bunch of guys together to help him build a dining facility for us. So that's what they ended up doing. And then when I came back from my R&R, I found out that the patrol base that we were staying at was going to be turned over to the Iraqi military, the Iraqi army. We used to call them the IAs. After we came back, one of the mechanics and I that was also attached to the company that I was in, he and I came back at the same time, and they shut down. They shut down. And by the time we left, they shut down at I think in late September. Yeah, I don't want to say. I remember thinking it was maybe October 1st, where we ended up going to getting sent up to Camp Stryker, and we were just chilling for a month, doing details and things. Which basically it's what details are in the military for civilians are odd jobs that need to be done, like whether it be around post or you need to go grab something for the commander or whatever, things like that. Whatever the first sergeant and commander are requesting, then you got to go to get done that, or the post commander or whatever. So we was there for a month. So we did mostly physical training, and then we just did our own thing for however long. And we finished when we got back. We was there for a month, just chilling, not doing much. And then the day we arrived home, we didn't arrive, not when we arrived home. When we left, we ended up going down to Kuwait for a couple days. And then stayed there for a couple days, and then we went up to Kuwait City Airport. They brought us up and sent us and flew us home. And I think we stopped at one spot. We stopped in Ireland to refuel, take a leak, get some snacks and whatnot. And then from there we went to an airport in Maine, and they were really good to us over there. They were, had like free snacks and things like that. And one of the orders that the first sergeant gave us was to shave while we were at the Maine airport before flying back to Fort Campbell. So we ended up, then they were offering like free shaving cream, free razors, and whatever else. There's free snacks, water, whatever else. So they're always really, especially like in Atlanta airports, USO, they're sweethearts over there. And so we came back I think because of the time difference, I believe we came back in the afternoon on the same date, November 1st. It was the same day we flew out, which was literally November 1st in the wee hours of the morning. So, and how the pay works is that if you is they don't prorate your pay, right? They if you like say if you get home on the second, still going to get paid the allowances that you're entitled to until the end of the month. So we got back on November 1st rather, just in time for the 2008 election, and then did our we did our what they call when we got back they did what was called reintegration. And one thing about Fort Campbell is they're very generous when it comes to time off. It's the 101st. They're very generous. It was like 3 weeks of 4-day weekends and half days until we all went on block leave, and we went on our leave was Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, so we were off for almost like 5 weeks. Then we came back off. When we came back off of block leave, that's what we ended up getting sent back to our respective companies. But yeah, it was not something I would want to do again, but I didn't have a problem with it. I had fun. I mean, I'm not sure that's something, like I said, I did volunteer when I was at Fort Bragg to go to Afghanistan a couple times, but they turned me down because they weren't looking for cooks. They had cooks, and then they ended up taking them off the manifest. But yeah, it was a hell of a time, and I think one thing it did for me personally was it really helped me get out of my shell. Because up until then I was very quiet, very shy. I still am until I get comfortable. But then, like, instantly as soon as I got to Iraq, I was just like, I didn't care. I just started talking again. I mean, I started getting comfortable. I mean, it's not to say I didn't care about the mission or anything like that, because I did. But but I just started talking, like, not being disrespectful, just talking a little bit more. And that was a whole lot of fun, and I appreciate that. Especially, I am thankful to that first sergeant for being so challenging and always hey, you're doing great, do better, things like that. I mean, there's always room for improvement. He was the type of guy, hey, you're doing a great job, but there's always room for improvement. Some people don't like that. Some people think that everybody should just be satisfied with and that just is what it is. That's just how some people are. But like I said, I had a blast. It was an honor to be there with them. And anyways, if you like this stuff, let me reiterate, please subscribe, leave a comment, share this video, and give it a like. So hopefully we can get to 1,000. Anyways, have a good one. We'll see you in the next one.